Hey, what's up? My name is Cyclist, and today we're going to be looking at how to make a more advanced shop. Now, I made a super simple shop a while ago using coins that you could walk over, and it worked, but it's super simple. And if you want your world to look a little more sophisticated, you can do a menu-style shop, which actually displays items and whatnot. So, I was going to display it to you and actually give you an example before we started recording, but the first time I recorded this, I screwed up, and then the second time Project Spark crashed mid-recording, so hopefully third time's a charm. So let's get into it. I'm going to be using a bunch of sci-fi stuff, but you can do what you want. I'm going to be using a table, this computer terminal table, because it's pretty. Actually, a lot of stuff out of the recent sci-fi pack is pretty. So we're going to put this down. It's worth mentioning before I start, I have this little block here that when I interact with, it gives me currency. My currency is a global numeric variable called credits. If you use coins, I can accommodate to that too, and I'll show you guys how to use coins here in a little bit. The generic coins and the coin counter built into the game. No problem. Alright, so let's get into it. First, delete that. When interacted, child line of code. First, we're going to do a object variable called player. Player equals it. And then we're going to switch page, next page. Now, one other thing we need to do is started to, then we need to do player, switch over here to brains. Brain is active equals true. Now, this doesn't change anything right here because brain is active defaults to true, but we're going to be turning the brain off when we open the store. That way, the HUD doesn't mess up the shop HUD, and the player doesn't move around when we're using the controls in the shop. So, this is what we need on the first page. The shop itself takes place on the second page. Now, in good old HTML style, I always put the necessities at the top of the page and then the content in the bottom of the page, which is kind of how you do the HTML style. You put the doc type and some of the rules at the top, and you call in whatever. Anyways, geeky stuff. So what we're going to be doing first is turning the player brain off. When started to player brain is active equals false. Now, this doesn't mean that the player can't use the human that is playing this game can't use your controller. It just means that that one object that interacted with the table, his brain is now turned off. Next, let's figure out a way to get out of the shop. So, when B pressed, switch page, previous page. There we go. Next, since we turned the player brain off, we probably turned off however they are allowed to display their currency. And that'd be really annoying having to enter and exit the shop to see how much currency you have. So we're going to do display credits and put a space there plus global credits. And I'm going to throw this on the top right corner, and I'm going to make it large. Now, let's say that you're not using global credits. Let's say that you're using the normal coin counter from Project Spark. Copy and pasted this. We're going to remove that. Instead, we're going to insert player and insert again coin counter. Now, if you don't see the coin counter numeric variable, put a coin down in your world and open up the coin's brain, and this should pop up. There you go. Now we'll display the coins as a number, not with the whole cool coin background, but as a number in the top right corner. But we're not doing that, so I'm going to get rid of that. You can use that system player coin counter instead of global credits pretty much anywhere in this tutorial. So, just so you know. Next, I think we're ready to actually make the scrolling bit of the menu. So, go to the controller. When left stick up, or when D-pad up, child line of code, started to. Let's make a numeric variable called selector. Oh, not equals. We need incremented. Actually, we need it incremented down by. That seems a little doesn't make sense, but the way that we build the menu, this is the easiest way to do it. So that's looking good. We're gonna copy, left trigger paste, right trigger, and we're gonna switch the arrows around. So then down direction, selector, up, increment up by 1. There we go. Now I've had a few people complain, gripe, moan, I don't know what the term you want to call it is, that I don't use the clamp function. But the reason I don't use the clamp function is that when you get to the bottom of the menu and then you press it down, the clamp function will keep you stuck at the bottom number. Rather than my method is you cycle back up to the top. Now it's a little more code, it's a little more tedious, but for this tutorial we're going to be using the clamp function instead. So we're going to put the selector variable here, selector equals, then we're going to go to math, function, clamp, maximum, this is going to be a short menu, so I'm only going to put 2, and minimum is 0. And then you have to put the variable again at the end. There you go. Now it won't go higher than 2 and it won't go below 0. Alrighty, looking good. Let's get to the actual menu itself. So when selector equal to 0. First, let's display the item that they're going to be buying. So we're going to display, and for the first item, we're going to be selling them. That's not where I need to go at all. Object gallery. We're going to be selling them a Codian Blaster. Not Codian Blaster, an Astro Blaster. So we're going to hit the Astro Blaster here. Position, screen center, and yep, that looks good. Pretty simple there. You can use swords, whatever, instead, but I've had more luck pulling items straight out of the gallery than... Well, for the displaying, you should pull an item out of the gallery rather than try to use a in-world picker. I'm hoping to make a tutorial where you can use your in-world picker to get custom-looking items, but for what we're doing here, you need to grab one out of the gallery. So, then, we're also going to do display, and we're going to put Astro Blaster, if I can type, 10 credits, or coins, whatever works for you. And we're going to position this at center right. Doesn't really matter where you put it, but this is where I like to put it. Font size medium. Priority, this is important. I'm going to put the priority to this at 10. And then the color, we're going to put blue. When you're selected on an item, we're going to make it blue. Now, what you could do instead of that is you could put a bullet point in front of it, or whatever you wanted to do. Next, let's see. If they actually want to purchase it, we're going to have them press A. Now, when we want to give them an error sound if they don't have enough money. So when global credits less than 10, because that's the price I said it would be sold for, we're going to have it play a sound. We're going to do fail. There we go. And no, not everywhere. Overlapping. Now we're going to copy and paste that same line of code, but instead of any sound, we're going to put greater than or equal to and create child lines of code under it. Now, maybe it's just a thing I have, but I like to put started to in front of most everything, and I think you'd pretty much always be fine if you didn't put this here. Oh, hang on, let me put a pressed. Okay, a pressed. I think it'd be fine pretty much always if you didn't put these started to here, but I like to put them there just for stability's sake. This makes sure that the game can't hiccup, the game can't lag, the game can't mess up and cost you twice or sell you 2 items when you only wanted 1. So, started 2. Now, for the first shop item, we're going to make it so that when you buy an item, you equip it. But if you bought a second one, you drop the current item from your hand onto the floor. So, what we're going to do is we're going to player. Nope, not equals. Player equip. And you know what? You can just go up here because it'll be quicker. Copy the display and paste it here. Now, if you are using a custom item, this is where you could go into your in-world area and grab that item. So let's say that you wanted it to have an effect applied to, or whatever you want to do. Next, we're going to charge them for it. So started 2, global credits decremented by 10. There we go. And we're going to give them a quick sound to tell them, hey, good job, you bought some stuff from us. Because everyone likes to hear sounds of reformation, or affirmation. There we go, not reformation. So we're going to do success, which is the similar sound to the failure, except it's the successful version and overlapping. There we go. This is the basic structure of our shop, and we're going to be copying and paste this and modifying it for 3 different items. So we're going to copy it, we're going to scroll down here to the bottom, and we're going to paste it. On this new one, we're going to put not equal to 0. We're going to delete the display and delete A press and everything below it. And then we're going to change the color to white. So this is how the menu item looks and acts when there's nothing, when it's not selected. It just looks white. It's in the same position, but it doesn't do anything. Now, I'm going to copy the menu item 0 again and paste it. Except this time, it is now item 1. And the priority is now 9. So, let's change the display of this item. And this time, we're going to put the Codian. Delete all that old code. The Codian Blaster. This thing's pretty, in my opinion. Change the text out to Codian Blaster. Let's make this thing cost a little more because it looks cooler. Codian Blaster, 15. Yeah, 15 credits. Now, when A pressed, credits is less than 15. It has the fail sound, but when you've got greater than 15, you equip the Codian Blaster. However, for the Codian Blaster, you're also going to unequip the previous item rather than just drop it on the floor. So we're going to insert a line of code above it. That's important. It has to be above it. We're going to do player unequip to inventory. There we go. That's all it takes. Then coins or credits decremented by 15. The success tune. Da 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 da. You're doing great. So then copy and paste the selector 1. I just copy and pasted it right in this position. Scroll down until you see selector 1 again. Put not equal to 1. Get rid of the display. Get rid of the A button. And put this to white. Now, if you're thinking this is get a little repetitive, it is. But don't worry, we're about to get a little more exciting. Now for our third item, which is actually item number 2, because we started at 0. This is going to be a one-time purchase only speed boost. And when you've purchased it, it then changes the display of the menu item and doesn't allow you to purchase it again. So what we're going to do, first let's change the display of it. And this time we're going to put, I'm going to type search speed, and we're going to go to the heart section, and we're going to use this icon. Then display, for new text, we're going to do speed boost 20 credits. There we go. Change the priority to 8 so that they stack on top of each other nicely. However, we need to start adding a Boolean variable in here. So we're going to add a line of code above it. And when, let's just call this boost to be simple. When boost equals false. Now we're going to add all this code as child lines to boost. So bump all the code over. There we go. Now down here, where we would be unequipping or equipping items, we can delete the unequip and delete the equip. For credits decremented by, this time it's 20. So we also need to change the price of our 2 previous items. And instead of equipping an item, what we're going to do is started to player, go to movement, movement properties, ground speed, incremented up by 3. Now this is actually a pretty cool way right here to make your own upgrading system. Like you can make a shop that only accepts tokens or whatever you want to use, and you can get 1 token per mission that you complete, and then you can come back and upgrade your movement speed. Or, I mean, do you see all these options? Ground acceleration, ground turn, multi-jump count, can fly, their swimming speed, all these movements. This is how you can do some really fun upgrades that isn't too difficult. So, my mini rant over. We need to add 1 more line of code at the very bottom that says boost equals true. Now let's go back up to the top, because when boost equals false, it displays all this while we're selected on this shop item. But when boost equals true, we're going to copy this display item, put it as a child line of code, and copy this display item and put it as a child line of code. However, instead of being blue or normal colored, they're both going to be red to signify it's used, you can't purchase it again. There we go. And finally, copy the entire selector 2, paste it, scroll down, when selector not equal to 2. Now what we could do here is, well, delete A, and if it has been purchased, then, oh, and get rid of the display, we can make it, I don't know, let's do gray. When you're not selected on it, it's gray, and when you are selected on it, it's red. So, that's the shop right there. You can continue that loop as long as you want. It is a little bit code heavy, and it is a little bit tedious, but it makes a really pretty shop, I'm not going to lie. Now there's one last little feature that I want to show off to you guys that will add a nice finishing touch to your shop. Search the camera item, grab the camera gizmo, turn off the snap, and then rotate it to look kind of at your shop and a little bit down. Now, I can't tell exactly where this camera is looking, so what I'm going to do is a little helper, and I'm going to assign it a first-person camera, and then when I hover over it, I can see what it sees through the little box up there. I'm going to select, move it up, that's a little bit too high, move it down, still a little bit too high, move it down. Oh, come on. Alright, sometimes it doesn't display right. But that's about where I want it. So I'm going to remove the first person display code, go back into my shop, go to my second page, up near the top because it's part of the, I don't know, the header is what you'd call it in HTML code. We're going to do first person camera in world picker, select the camera, without controls, transition easing, ease between, transition time. I'll make this a really quick snappy transition, so half a second. This way it pulls the camera away from your character and makes the shop look different and out of the way for them. So let's give it a shot. Also, I've been using the female Astro character, and she looks actually pretty cool. So, and I have a little sci-fi city I've been building here. So let's walk in here, and I'm going to interact with this thing a few times to get currency. Lots of currency. Interact with the shop. There we go. Oh, it looks like I got something a little bit wrong on the selection for speed boost. But as you can see, we go through different items, it displays them on screen. So I got 500 credits right now. If I was to select the Astro Blaster, we get a little sound if I have my recording volume turned up high enough. Exit, and I'm holding the blaster. So then we can go back in there, and if I bought the Astro Blaster again, it would have dropped that one on the floor. Which, if you want it that way, you can. But if you don't, let me get it to angle here. There we go. Let's select the Codian Blaster. When we buy it, it unequips the gun rather than dropping it on the floor. And then the speed boost, now it's red when I hover over it, including the icon, to show I've only bought it. I've bought it and I can never buy it again. And now my character runs all spiffy fast. So, really quickly, let me go back in and tweak what was wrong. I think I realized I know what I did wrong. Let's see. Boost equals. Oh, I was looking at the wrong section. Okay, down here, when not selected, it should be white instead of red. I goofed up here. So, that was a little mistake I made. I'll see if I can throw an annotation on. But that's how you can make a much more advanced shop. This video has taken me a while, but I think this should be helpful. Thank you guys for watching it. Also, thank you for having me clear 350 subscribers. I'm coming up on 370. That is, oh my gosh, I can't even say how crazy that is. No idea I'd get this far. I started this channel mostly because there wasn't much Project Spark content out there, and I wanted to help a little bit. I didn't think I'd get 350, close to 400 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that. I usually don't push the subscriber thing. Try to let my video quality talk for me rather than having to ask you guys to subscribe to me. But thank you very much for all that you've done. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys later.